Hello, I am Joshua with The Garden is Growing, and we are in the thick of seed starting season. Getting ready for those spring and summer gardens. Now's the time to get our seeds started. I'd love to show you everything I use for seed starting and hopefully can give you some ideas and find some useful products that you want to use for your seed starting. Let's go ahead and get into it. I'll give you a rundown of what I have and how I use it. I'll have links available in the description for most, if not all, of these products. So go ahead and check it out if you are interested. And let's get started with the shelving. I have two shelves. One of them I got at, it was either Lowe's or Home Depot, and the other one I ordered on Amazon. These shelves are great. They're metal. You can adjust them. Every single little notch here could be where the shelf is. So they're infinitely adjustable, which is great for how we want to use it. I have some shorter shelves up top here, and then down below I've got some great clearance to be able to accommodate the plants when they're starting to get a lot taller, which, you know, when those tomatoes and peppers start growing, we're going to need some more headroom for them. So that's the shelves there. On the shelves we have grow lights. Lighting is very important. As soon as a seed has germinated, they are going to start searching for light. And if you've started seeds in the past without having any dedicated light, maybe you have them by a sunny window, you'll notice that they start growing towards their light source. So you can definitely make a window work if you get lots of light. Now you'll be rotating the trays, maybe moving them from window to window. So you might be able to make that work, but a lot of these seedlings need 12+ hours of light to be able to grow to the best of their ability. So I would recommend getting some grow lights. Now you can use a wide variety of lights. These here are specific grow lights made for growing plants. They are full spectrum and they are available on Amazon. I've had these for 2 years. I have two 6-pack sets of these 4-foot grow lights. Barina is the brand. I also, from the same company, have these 2-foot ones. Now, the 4-foot ones are a lot better value because they have 2 sets of LEDs for each foot, and they're 4 feet instead of 2 feet. So I would recommend these if you have lots that you're going to be growing in, lots of seeds you're going to be starting. But something like this is definitely adequate if you're only looking to do like 2 shelves. A lot of people will also just go to a big box store. So when you say big box store, you're thinking Walmart, Lowe's, Home Depot, one of those, and get a standard LED shop light. Now, I need to experiment more with that because a couple years ago, or 3 or 4 years ago, before I got these, I got a shop light and it didn't go well. I had it either too close, or the lighting, the Kelvin was off, the intensity was too much, but it did burn the plants and it didn't go well. So there are people that have great success with that, so I know it's going to be an option and it'll work. I just know that these are pretty foolproof. The full spectrum refers to the wavelength, so you can have like the red and the blues. It balances well, so it has good light for seedlings, that new root growth, the stems, the leaves, but also for the fruiting stage. So if you want to have something growing indoors to the fruiting stage and beyond, then these full spectrum lights are great. So I recommend them, but I will be trying some shop lights for myself in the future when I need some more space, because I do want to make that work and learn how to do that better. All right, so we have our shelving, we have our lights. Let's talk about these fans. I've got 2 different types of fans. I've got this computer fan that's USB. I've got a splitter as well, so I can plug 2 of my USB fans into one power source, and it's just a USB plug. So the power source can be just an old phone charger. These have 3 speed settings. I find putting them at the end and blowing it in works well. The other one that we have is this larger oscillating fan. This one's a little too powerful, but if it's far enough away and rotates, then this one does well as well. The reason you would want to have a fan is, let me turn this one off here. I have this on and it's going across my onions. I find 2 main reasons that it's great to have a fan. One, if your soil stays too wet, then you can have things growing on it that you don't want growing on it. So it's a great way to help prevent the soil from being too wet. But you also want to bottom water if possible instead of watering over the top. That'll also help. But the fan helps as well. So there's just not air sitting and the circulation helps. Two is it helps actually strengthen the plants. When, say, a tomato plant is growing, it's used to being outside where the air is blowing, the wind, it's not a perfectly still condition like in here. So the air actually moves the plant a little bit and can help strengthen the roots. So there's a few good reasons to have fans. Both of these work. I like the computer fans because they're cheaper, smaller. I find that they work well. I'll link to the ones that I have in the description. All right, so fans, shelving, light. Let's talk containers. You actually need a place to plant your seeds. So a standard seed tray like this here it's called a 10-20. So it's about 10 inches by 20 inches. And they fit most of the pre-made seed starting containers. So for instance, this is a 6-cell seed tray or 6-cell seed container. And you can fit 2 of them perfectly and then 3 across. That's what we have here with our onions. Up here, we have a 72-cell insert for the same 10-20 tray that we have our pepper seeds started on. We'll do a close-up of that later. You also can have these bigger containers that also fit perfectly and across. They're kind of made for the 10-20 design. You don't have to use a uniform setup though. This is a recycled seed starting container or plant container from Stark Bros. They're a great nursery, been around for over 200 years, fruit plants and fruit trees and the like. I'm going to reuse this to have a plant in that. My kids, my 2 oldest kids, are saving their yogurt containers so that way they can use them to plant seeds that they're going to be putting in their own gardens. They get their own garden space this year, which is really exciting. All right, so we have the shelving, we have the fans, we have the lights, we have the containers. One thing that really helps certain plants germinate is heat. Some plants are okay at room temperature, like the celery I have going over there, 70 to 75. That's kind of a normal temperature that people's houses are at. Mine's just below that, but close. But peppers, tomatoes, and other plants that like the heat want the warmth to germinate. And what I have under here is a heat mat under our peppers here. And it goes to this thermostat. I actually have tape over the display here, because we're in our bedroom and this is a little bright at night. But this tray is set between 85 and 90. I actually have it set at, what do I have it set? 80, there we go. No, that's what it's currently at, 88. 88 Fahrenheit, or 30.5 is what it's currently at there. So we have 88 is what it's set at, but it fluctuates. It's at 86.9. So this is great though. We have the heat mat plugged into this thermostat and the thermostat plugged into the power. This thermostat has a thermometer that goes into the soil so it can turn the mat on and off based on the temperature. So I highly recommend this for starting some things like peppers and tomatoes. It's not a necessity, so if you're looking at cost, leave this out. You can pick this up in a year or two when you're experimenting more or you're having some issues that you're trying to resolve. It speeds up the process of germination, and it can also help the germination rate so you get more of those seeds that you plant sprouting. So I like it a lot. I only have 1 of them. So I've got my peppers on it now. I'm starting tomatoes a little bit later than my peppers. So once they sprout, take it off the heat mat. You don't need the heat mat after they've sprouted. And also, humidity domes, either a dome like this or plastic wrap, are great during that germination process to keep that humidity in. But again, once these sprout, I'm taking the lid off, I'm removing the heat mat. They're not needed anymore at that stage. Here are 2 seed starting mixes that I recommend. This one is from Espoma, which is a great organic fertilizing company. They're a family-owned business, and I like using their fertilizers, and this is the first year I tried their organic seed starting mix. Works well. This Jiffy is probably one of the most readily available and less expensive options. It's OMRI listed, OMRI. That's an organic certification. So both of those are good options if you're looking for a medium to plant your seeds. After your seeds sprout and they start getting their true leaves, so a couple of weeks after, I'd recommend adding some of this. This is fish fertilizer from Neptune's Harvest. It's organic. It's not going to burn your plants. You'll do a diluted application of this, and this is an amazing thing to help your seedlings grow. So something like this or something different. I do have a coupon code down in the description, so take a look at that if you're interested. I'd recommend something like that. All right, so that pretty much covers just my general setup. We've got the 2 shelves. We've got 12 of these 4-foot lights. You can't quite see it low there, but there's another 2 on the bottom shelves here. We have 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, and 2 here. And then we've got 4 of these smaller ones here. We've got nothing here. I've got 4 more of these still in this box that I can set up on this side, and I probably will. I might try experimenting with some of the regular shop lights that you can buy in our basement to expand the space a little bit more. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions. I can go into more details in depth of any of these topics. I'm not an expert in any of them, so if you're looking for like specific details of wavelengths for the light, I can share a little bit more information and do some research before talking about it. But I'm not, a scientist or expert when it comes to any of that. I hope you guys can have some great success with seed starting this year. Follow for all things gardening. I hope you can spend some time in your gardens today, and have a great evening.